Hello friends and welcome to Digimento. So there was an issue with the audio. I hope it's sorted now. Okay. So I hope it's sorted now. I hope you are able to hear me. I hope it's going well. So yes, if you're watching the video, let me know in the comment section. Okay, it's audible now. Okay, thank you. So yes, let's start. Sorry for the issue and the trouble. Okay. So Lipika, hi, good evening. Vikrant, hi. Rahul, hello. Shama, hello. Sharbana, hello. Arshad, hi. So hello everyone. So there was a small issue with my audio, with my OBS settings, and I have always told you I have no background in computer science, and also that I am very weak in all these technical things. I was not able to sort it out, and that's why it took a lot of time. But we will have a 45-minute session from now. Okay. So yes, some sound is getting Vikrant. Okay. Or Arjun, no problem. Okay, no need of sorry. Okay, thank you Arjun, and thank you everyone for bearing it with me. So yes, so let's start. And yes, so this is actually we were discussing the second unit, that is research aptitude. So unit 2, research aptitude. This was the unit that we were discussing. Now within this unit 2, this is the third module is steps of research, and we have already started with this, so we will continue that. I'll try to finish this particular module by today or tomorrow. Okay, so yes, let's get started. Now if you are preparing for GATE, NTA UGC NET or PGT Computer Science, you can avail our online courses. So we are providing various online courses for this this exams, so you can avail them. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe, and also please do not forget to press the bell icon. So please do subscribe and press the bell icon. And this is our website, www.digimentor.com. so you can visit our website for getting more information about the classes that we provide, the courses that we provide actually. So the course information you will get it from here, and this is the enquiry number on which you can make a enquiry call regarding the classes that are available and all other details related to the courses that we provide to you. So let's get started. So as I said, this is one module which we have already started, but since there was a 2-day gap, I think we will quickly revise this. Revise in the sense that we will at least glance through the topics that we have completed. At least you can go through the PPTs, so that it will be easier for you. Okay. Yeah, we started with research process. This was the first topic that we discussed in this module. So what is research process? Research process, the process means it is a summation of all the related activities that a researcher performs. So it is the series of all the related activities that is performed by a researcher. Now next is the steps of research. So this is what we were studying. So the research process and the steps of research. So this entire module is about the steps of research. It includes formulation of research problem, literature survey, developing hypothesis, preparing research design, determining sample design, collection of data, execution of a project, analysis of data, hypothesis testing, generalization and interpretation, preparation of project. So these are the various steps involved in a research process, or we can say steps of research. So we were taking up each step in detail to see the complete thing about it. So first one is a formulation of a research problem. So we have seen that the formulation of research problem, it means that research problem, and which means what needs to be studied, or what research needs to be done, on what topic the research needs to be done. All these are discussed under formulation of research problem. So formulation of research problem is nothing but defining the problem precisely. So here the research problem is defined precisely or specifically. So here the research problem is studied or defined precisely or specifically. Now the two types of research problems is those which relates to states of nature and those which relate to relationship between the variables. Next, the two steps involved in formulation of the research problem. Then the sources of research problem, from where you can derive or arrive at research problem. This is the next thing. Okay. Okay, I'm getting some more comments. No problem, Senthil. How are you, ma'am? I'm good. I'm keeping good. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Yesterday I was not able to take the session because it was my baby's birthday, my daughter's birthday. So that is why I could not take the classes yesterday. And admit cards for exams on dates 4-5. Okay. So yes. Now yeah. Sources of research problems we have discussed. Then we discuss about the steps in the formulation of a research problem. So what are the steps involved in formulating a research problem? So various steps in formulating a research problem. Now, okay. Next is about the literature review. This also we have discussed. So what is literature review? So the available literature. Literature means it can be journals or reports or any books or anything. So whatever is available, it can be extensively studied. Anything that is related to your research problem, the previous available journals or proceedings or government reports, books, etc. can be studied in detail. Now, why is literature review important? Why it is important? It will bring clarity and focus to the research problem. It will improve the methodology. It will broaden the knowledge and contextualize the findings. Now, the procedure for reviewing the literature. So, this is the procedure. So, what you have to do, what are the steps that you need to follow for reviewing the literature or for conducting the literature review. Now, next is development of hypothesis. So, we have seen what are the two kinds of hypothesis, the null hypothesis and the alternate hypothesis. So, development of a hypothesis. Next is the functions of hypothesis. So, what are the functions? Why hypothesis is important? The significance of hypothesis. Then we discussed about two types of hypothesis. What are the different types of hypothesis? The null hypothesis and the alternate hypothesis. We have seen both of them. You can just go through the slides. Hi Love Singh, good evening. Hello. Yes. Next is preparing research design. So what is research design? It's the blueprint of the research. Okay. So preparing a research design. Blueprint. Next is the following decisions are made in research design. So what are the things that are considered or what are the decisions made? So decisions made or what are the things that are considered in research design. Okay, so these are the things. Now next is about determining the sample design. So this is a very important topic, probability sampling and non-probability sampling, which we have already discussed. So yes, two types of sampling can be done, probability and non-probability sampling. So probability sampling is in which element of the population has a fixed probability chance of being selected. Different types we have already discussed. Simple random sample, okay. Advantages we have discussed. Okay, I think this is the next topic that we need to discuss, that is systematic sampling. So we will start from here today. Okay, systematic sampling. Now under systematic sampling, the sample is chosen by selecting a random starting point and then picking every 10th element in succession from the sampling frame. Not 10th, sorry, xth element. Xth element, okay, not 10th, sorry. X means it can be any number, okay. Now the sample is chosen by selecting a random starting point. Randomly starting point will be chosen, and every xth element, maybe 5th, x can be 5, it can be 6th, it can be 10th, it can be 20th. So according to the sample size, every xth element will be picked up. So sample is chosen by selecting a random sample point, okay. That is the sampling interval. Interval is given by I. So the sampling interval I is determined by dividing the population size n by the sample size and then rounding to the nearest whole number. So sampling interval I. Interval is represented by I. Sampling interval I is determined by dividing the population size n. That is, n is the population size. By sample size n. Small n, okay. Small n is sample size and then rounding the nearest whole number. Then rounding of the nearest whole number. Now, here whatever we have seen, see few things that we have seen. Now interval is represented by I. So what does I mean? I is interval. Okay, I'll just write it with a different color so that you get more clarity. So okay, here we go. Yeah, I represents interval. Now we have big N, that is a capital N, which represents the population size, that is the whole population, and from this population we need to find the sample. So the sample size is represented by small n. So the small n represents sample size. Interval I, n, capital N population size and small n sample size. So this is it. Sampling interval I, it is determined by dividing the population size n by sample size n and rounding to the nearest whole number. So the sample size I, sampling interval I, that is the x term. I is determined how? N divided by small n, and whenever we get an answer, if it's in fraction or if it's in points, points, then it is rounded off to the nearest whole number, okay. Yes. Now, what are the advantages of systematic sampling? So, here we will see what are the advantages of systematic sampling. The first one, it can be taken as an improvement over simple random sample in much as the systematic sample is spread more evenly over the entire population. So, it can be taken as an improvement over a simple random sample in as much as the systematic sample is spread more evenly over the entire population. So, yes, it is seen as an improvement. We have seen what a simple random sample. It is simply randomly picking the population. But this is an improvement, which means this is little more systematic as compared to the simple random sample. in as much as the systematic sample is spread more evenly over the entire population. The reason is that it is the systematic sampling is an improvement over the simple random sampling. Now, why it is considered as an improvement over the simple random sampling? This is because it is evenly more over the entire population. So, it covers the entire population evenly. Okay, so that is why it is considered to be even more systematic. An easier and less costlier method of sampling and can be conveniently used even in case of large population. So second advantage is that it's easier and less costlier method of sampling. So the time and the efforts and the money, that is time, money and finances involved are less. So time, money and finances involved are less, and it can be conveniently used. The convenience is high, so it can be conveniently used even in case of large population. So it's convenient even in case of large population. Large population means that even when the population size is high, it can be conveniently used. So even when the population size is high, it can be conveniently used. Lipika is asking me any example regarding this sample. Okay, I'll give you. Now for example, suppose you have a sample size of 1 lakh. Okay, this is population size. So population size is 1 lakh. So you know 1 lakh is quite a large number. So it's represented by large N or capital N. Now the sample that you need is 100. You need only 100 people from this 1 lakh. And this is your small n, or this is your sample size. Okay, sample size or your small n. Now, how you can use this method? Large N, that is 1 lakh, divided by 100, small n, that is large N divided by small n divided by n. So you get 1000. So what you do in systematic sampling is, you take this entire 1 lakh population size and one person is randomly chosen from 1000. That means you will randomly start from one person and then you will next choose the 1000th, that is the xth term, that is the interval here is 1000. So 1000 here is the I or the interval. So after 1000 the next person, then after the next 1000, like that you will choose. Okay, so this is how this kind of sampling is done. This is more systematic as compared to simple random sampling. Under simple random sampling, you are not using any method or any technique, you are simply choosing. Okay. Now there are certain disadvantages also. If there is a hidden periodicity in the population, systematic sample will prove to be inefficient method of sampling. That is, in case of a hidden periodicity, in that case it is ineffective. A population needs to exhibit a natural degree of randomness along the chosen metric. If the population has a type of standardized pattern, the risk of accidentally choosing very common cases is more apparent. So this is again another problem. So if the randomness is not there, if the population is not random, then this cannot be effective. Okay. Next is stratified random sample. Hi Sandeep. Hello, good evening. Welcome Sandeep. Yes. So next we are discussing about the stratified random sample. So it's a two-step process. Stratified random sample, it's a two-step process. and the population is partitioned into subpopulations or strata. So you know what the meaning is. Stratified means a larger population is divided into stratas. So here stratification is done. That is, the population is divided into various stratas. Hi, good evening, SV Degree College, Chittor, and hi Rani, good evening, hello. So stratification is done, that is, the population is divided into various stratas. The population is partitioned into subpopulations or strata. So that is what is done. So population is divided into subpopulation or various strata. The strata should be mutually exclusive. So the strata, how it should be? Mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive, in that every population element should be assigned to one and only one stratum. Okay, what does it mean? So it should be mutually exclusive, which means that one person should be representing only one strata, or one sample should represent only one strata, and they should be collectively exhaustive. So put together they represent the entire population, that is collectively exhaustive and mutually exclusive. Then elements are selected from each stratum by a random procedure, usually simple random sampling. So I'll tell you how it is done. Let's take an example. Okay, I'll just rub it because I need to write more. Okay, suppose for example, there is a 1 lakh population. Now we are dividing it into groups of 100. So 100 into how many will be there? 1000 groups. Okay, you have divided it into 1000 stratas or groups representing 100 people each. So from this 1000 groups, from every group you will choose one person, or like how much ever is needed, and this choosing from the group of 100. So how it is chosen? Using simple random sampling. Okay. Okay. Now let's come to the advantages and disadvantages of stratification or stratified random sampling. A stratified random sample can provide greater precision than simple random sample. So precision, specificness, so precise, that is more in case of stratified random sampling. So a stratified sample can provide greater precision than a simple random sample of the same size. I'm sorry. Now, because it provides greater precision, a stratified sample often requires a smaller sample, therefore it is financially viable. So, since the precision is more, so greater precision, a stratified sample requires a smaller sample, which means you can save on money or finances. So you can make savings on your finances. A stratified sample can guard against any unrepresentative sample. So it can guard against any unrepresentative sample means it is more representative in nature. It represents the entire population. Representative in nature means represents the entire population. we can ensure that we obtain sufficient sample points to support a separate analysis of any subgroup. So under this kind of sampling, we can ensure that we obtain sufficient sample points to support a separate analysis of any subgroup. We obtain sufficient sample points to support a separate analysis. Now coming to the disadvantages. So disadvantages is that it may require more administrative effort than a simple random sample. So it requires more administrative effort. The administrative efforts are more. Now the analysis is computationally more complex. Computation of the analysis is more complex. Okay, this analysis is computationally more complex. Next is cluster sampling. So here, instead of stratification, what we are doing, we are making clusters. So cluster sampling. Cluster sampling is a two-step probability sampling testing technique where the target population is first divided into mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive subpopulations or clusters. So here, similar to strata, the population is divided into clusters. So it's similar to strata, but these are not stratas but clusters. Then a random sample of clusters is selected based on probability sampling techniques. Then after clusters are divided or clusters are made, then a random sample of clusters is selected. So a random of clusters is selected based on probability sampling technique. Okay. For each selected cluster, either all the elements are included in the sample or a sample of elements is drawn probabilistically. That means for every selected cluster, that is, first of all the clusters are selected, and for every selected cluster, either all of the elements are included, either all elements, or what they will do, they will choose it by probability or random. Okay. So let me know if you have any doubts here, any doubts till now, then we will proceed further. So any doubts? Example. Okay. Ma'am, it's my humble request to please create your Telegram channel for notes and study materials. Okay, we'll do that. Tell me sample example. Definitely, I'll give you sample example. Okay, I think it's better that I'll give you the example at the end, because with one example I can explain every different thing. Okay, otherwise it's a time waste, I guess. Okay, example. Everyone is asking for examples. So Lipika ma'am, how it works in real life, if you explain it through any real life example. Definitely, what I'll do after finishing all these types of sampling, we will take up an example and we will discuss that from real life context, in the context of research, in doing research. Okay. Okay. Telegram channel also, Sandeep, I'll consider that. I'll talk to the team regarding that. And you need the PDF. PDF is always being passed to the team. They will get you that. I mean, they'll send you that on through proper channels. Definitely, they'll do that. I'll once again talk to them regarding that. Okay. PDF note. Yeah, that's what. The classes which I am taking, the notes, I will make them available. Okay, don't worry. But I'll recommend you to write your notes as well, I mean lecture notes as well. Okay. Srinivas Reddy, hi, good evening Srinivas. So yeah. So anything more? So yes, so let's see. Now advantages of cluster sampling. So first thing is, it is less expensive. That means the financials, the less expensive, and more quick. That is, it's more quick and less expensive. And cluster sample permits each accumulation of large samples. So cluster sampling permits each accumulation of larger samples. So cluster sample will allow for accumulation means bringing together of larger samples. The loss of precision per individual case is more than compensated for by the possibility of studying larger samples for same course. That means the loss of precision per individual case. If you take individual samples, the precision is more. So when you take larger groups, the precision is less. But how is this loss of precision compensated? It is compensated by the possibility of studying larger samples for the same course. So larger samples are studied on the same course. So this precision is, the loss of precision is compensated. Now cluster sample may combine the advantages of both random sampling as well as stratified sampling. Why? Because stratified sampling is by creating stratas. Now in cluster sampling also we are using similar thing, that is, instead of strata we are creating clusters. Now random sampling is randomly choosing. Now we have seen what are the advantages of random sampling and also what are the advantages of stratified sampling. So here in case of our cluster sampling, both the advantages of stratified sampling as well as the random sampling is combined. Okay. Okay. Admit card, I have to check regarding the updates. Maybe somebody in the group can better help you with that. SV Degree College, please provide MCQ on research. Yes, after every module we are providing, after every unit we are providing the MCQs. Don't worry about that. This unit also, this unit also we will do the same. Don't worry about the MCQs. Okay. And next advantage is that the cluster sampling procedure enables to obtain information from one or more areas. So multiple sources, information from multiple sources. So it provides information from multiple sources. Now the disadvantages. In a cluster sample, each cluster may be composed of units like no other. This may produce large sampling error and reduce the representativeness. So representativeness is a very important consideration when we are doing research. So the sample should be representative. It should represent the entire population. That can be compensated. Compromised, not compensated, can be compromised in case of a cluster sampling. It is not necessary that always the cluster sampling will be representative in nature. In cluster sampling, when unequal size of some of the subsets is selected, an element of sample bias will arise. This type of sampling may not be possible to apply its findings to another area. So in case of cluster sampling, when unequal size of some of the subsets is selected, that is, when the population is selected unequally, an element of sample bias can arise. and this type of sampling may not be possible to apply its findings to another area. Sometimes adequate number of cases from the standpoint of increasing the precision of sample is not selected and overlapping effect may take place. So sometimes the adequate number of cases from the standpoint of increasing precision of sample is not selected, and in that case an overlapping effect can take place. Okay, so these are the disadvantages. Next we will come to non-probability sampling, but we will take it up tomorrow. We will try to take up an example also before we start non-probability sampling. Okay, this is not based on probability, that is all. So we will see each one of them, non-probability sampling. Okay, yes. So yeah, coming up we have lot of things to be discussed. Chi-square test and all, it's very important. T-test, F-test, all these are very important, and you can expect questions from that. And if you are preparing for your JRF exam or PhD, again in that also it's very important. Okay, so we will discuss all of them tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday, and Saturday the classes are at 8 o'clock. Okay, so it's like Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So this is how it will go. So Monday, Wednesday and Friday you will have the classes at 8 p.m. and Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday you will have the classes at 7:30 p.m. So this is the timing. Okay, Arjun has commented that I suggest you to go to Solutions at the website where a lot of MCQ and answers are available. You can practice there. Thank you for the suggestion, Arjun. SV Degree College, you can try that, and thank you, Arjun. So this will be the timings for the upcoming classes: Monday, Wednesday and Friday 8 p.m. and Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday 7:30 p.m. Okay, so this is how the classes will go in the future. Until the next information. So yes, so that is all for today. We will meet again tomorrow. So take care and study well. I wish you all the very best and see you. Okay, bye bye.